Well, here are all my fig trees. The leaves are all off. I just have a few figs to pick off of this one here. They don't taste good anymore. Just too cold for them to ripen properly anymore. But I am now taking all of these watering systems that I disconnected with the stakes, and now I'm just pulling them out of the pots, and I'm going to prepare to move them over to the garage so I can water them in real well before they get stacked. So this is kind of one of the first little steps after they have lost all their leaves. I already gave most of them a good pruning. You can see, hopefully here, I pruned this one down. This one was quite tall. It probably was about another 3 feet high. So I've trying to keep them almost the same level this year. Last year I didn't prune them. This year I pruned them, most of them. And we see how they do. I'm sure they'll do great. So anyhow, this is the first and second step to the migration. Ooh, I take it back. I thought, well, I'll give it a whirl. It's bleeding, but I'll give it a whirl and see how it tastes. Oh my gosh, the Genovese Nero still tastes good. So I'll have to check those two up there as well and see if those taste as good as this one did. Boy, yumma, numma, numma. So also my raspberries, they're like yummy, yummy if you can find them. They're still trying to produce. We had no rain again. Huge system went through Michigan. Did not get a drop here. So it's been a long time, but ooh, these raspberries are just fantastic at this time of year. Ooh, yum, 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 yum. I just love raspberries in the fall. They just taste so good. I don't know what it is, but after a frost and that, they just taste even better. So anyhow, I'm going to gobble these and then get back to my fig migration. Okay, next step is to spray all my trees, which I have just finished. Well, almost finished. I have those big pots over there to do. I spray up and down in the pots, and I spray every angle of every brush, branch, and tree. So I will spray down here. I spray up and down the trunk this way, and then I go on the other side and I do all the other sides. Boy, this is hard to do with one hand. So anyhow, that is one of the steps now to the migration of my fig trees into the garage. Okay, in the process of putting my stuff away, I'm going to up pot a few. And this one, you can see, is really going crooked. Came out of this pot, and I'm going to put it in this pot. I already have some dirt and some micro cananze, or however you say it, in there. And some other things that I prepped it for. But I want to make this so it's straight. So I will be planting it on its side like that. So the tree will now be straight in its pot. If this was going from the same pot to the same pot, I would go and cut a corner off of this pot. I would cut the end on this off and the top of this off, or I would take it to the hose and hose off this part really good and hose off the bottom part really good, and then set it in this pot, and then it will be a nice straight tree for me. So I'm going to go and this one I'm just going to need to hose off the top here a little bit. So I'm going to go and do that. So it's kind of hard for me to take pictures of this and show you, but you can see how I sprayed the top of that off where the roots are exposed. And just wanted to show you how it was growing out the bottom of the pot. It's pretty root bound. So I'll rough that up a little bit on the bottom, and then it's time for it to go in its new little home there. So anyhow, I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. So here's the one I fixed. He's much straighter. He'll never be perfectly straight, but that's fine by me as long as he's going more in a upright one trunk tree. This one, on the other hand, I'm having big issues with. So what I'm going to do is get my big lobbers, and I'm going to cut this branch off here, and then I'm going to manipulate the ball and make it so this here will be now straight up and down. Because, like I say, when I stack them in my garage, it's so much easier to have vertical. Is that right? Yeah, vertical versus horizontal. So anyhow, I got to get that all fixed. So here's some of the mediums I'm using to up pot with. And anyhow, let me get with that. So here I got my lobbers, and I'm going to take this branch off and see if I can get a little cleaner cut, closer. I guess you guys couldn't see that, but you saw the big part come off. I'm thinking I might be taking this branch off too, but I'm thinking I'll wait until I have this out of the pot before I decide on that. Oh, she's in there. I think she's kind of getting root bound a little. Not too bad. It was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. There's her tag. I usually put a tag down in here. I write it on the sides. I put a tag on so that hopefully I never miss whichever one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lot of this part here off, cut it here, and get rid of this angle right in here. I'm going to see if I break it apart, but I think I'm going to have to cut it. And cut that. I'm going to cut the other bottom here on an angle, so there'll be an angle here and an angle here, so that it will be upright like this in the pot. Because that'll be a lot easier, but boy, there'll be a lot I have to take off, so I guess I should have brought my saw. Oh well. So, what can I say? I'm just not thinking. Alrighty. Okay, I got my saw. This is my old one. I busted the tip off of it, so I use it for dirt more. Sometimes I use it for branches. It's actually still pretty good. They also have is it a Felco or the other one? Fisker. I have a Fisker one too, but these are really handy tools. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to prune. So what you can do is in the spring you can do this as well. You can prune your fig trees, but they're going to be in the garage and it'll have more insulation if you pot now for your little trees if you want. So I don't think this is a bad time. I think fall is a really good time, especially if you don't have time in the spring. Sometimes you need to just do what you need to do. So let's see. I'm gonna cut a little this top off too, because it's got to go back into the pot. So look at all those beautiful roots. It's doing a really good job. Now I got to get on this end and cut this end. I got to make sure I get the right angle. And now I'm going to cut right here so that when I put it back in the pot, not too many roots down in here, which is good. Now I can see some of the, this is some of the stuff I put at the bottom, so when I put the dirt into the pots, it doesn't fall through when I was up potting the last time. So there's a few roots I cut off, but he'll be okay. So, and there's some long ones that were left, and I'll rough them up around the sides a little bit too. Okay, let's get his pot back up here. Here's this big old pot, and get the name tag back out so I don't put it in the very bottom. Let's see. All right, now I can get some dirt in here more. I'm gonna build this up quite a bit. Oh dear, I'm gonna have to go to see if I can get some more dirt. To check my books here. As you know, you probably saw my video on the RV. My husband and I are in the shop getting some things fixed on it. So far it seems like the place we bought it is pretty good for fixing things up. Ugh, God. Whew. All right, Mr. Roots, in you go. Oh, doesn't that look a lot better? Much straighter. Let me see. It's got such a kink in it that I'm gonna bury. Well, maybe some of it will be buried. So, wow, that's a bit of dirt that's gonna take to fill that. Oh, holy moly. Longer than I wanted. Let me see if there's dirt down in there. I don't want an air pocket. That's a death of a tree too, if you know anything about planting. You don't want air pockets around the roots. It will kill a plant. Air pockets is like no dirt around the root, underground, and it's not a good thing. So that's why they say to water it in really good before you completely pack it in. With me, I'm filling with my hand, make sure it is going all the way down around. Get it down in there. This is some really good dirt. I love this Happy Frog soil conditioner. It's just got like these little chopped up pieces of bark in them and stuff. It almost reminds me of like charcoal. I don't know why, but that's what it looks like to me. Have the start of the migration of my trees that I'm bringing from the back and taking it to my back porch. I'll put them all here, try to put the smaller ones on this side, larger ones on this side, extra large ones probably over here. I'll water them in really, really good. I might even put some slow release fertilizer on them, which is organic, because it'll take a long time for that to break up. And then by spring, it will have broken up enough that then these trees can absorb it. So this is my first part of migrating the trees, or actually the second part. I've been potting some of them like I had in the little section that I showed you before this. So the ones that I potted, it's pretty easy to see. They look really new. There's this one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. So there's a few. I think there was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. So I uprighted some of those more vertical, because like this one, the Col de Dame Blanc, that was completely like this and like this. And I sacrificed one branch that was going this way, and then I uprighted this branch. So now I have a straight tree. And I think I mentioned that before. I do it that way so that I can stack these like a pyramid. So I will have these like this, then I'll have a pot between them like that, and then a pot that will be between them like that. And anyhow, I'll show you that process a little later on, but I just wanted to show you my first process of bringing these here to the back of my garage door.